my first Periscope, and it is with all of you together. Let me give you a quick introduction of myself, and then I will go through some of the questions we have gathered, and then the stage will be yours. To give you a background of myself, I was born in China, in a second-tier city called Changchun, northeast of China, and I went to England at age of 18. And I qualified as an actuary from the UK. I studied and worked in London for 12 years. And I became the chief actuary for Zurich Financial Services at the age of 30. And I would say that is a very big turning point for myself because I did an executive MBA from INSEAD. During my first leadership class, my personal coach asked me, "Helen, what do you want to achieve from this class?" I said, "I want true happiness." At the age of 30, I started to reflect myself. Even though I achieved reasonable high position in the financial sector, and people around me seeing me maybe successful in a way, but deep down, if I ask myself, I don't feel entirely happy. And then something my coach told me that was 12 years back. He said, "Helen, in order to achieve that true happiness in life, you need 4 pillars. You need the past, future, achievement, and purpose. If you are not entirely happy, you need to reflect what is the missing factor." And actually, it took me a year to reflect my personal career journey. And I realized, actually, what is the real purpose, which I started to ask myself. And after that, I actually left the financial sector in year 2011. I went to Africa to search a bigger purpose in life, a purpose I can pursue for the rest of my life. Is just beyond my personal goals. And then I worked as an entrepreneur and then become an advisor to the Prime Minister of Ethiopia to bring in the whole industrialization model from Asia, which helped Asia's economic transformation and job creation to Africa. And then we helped Africa creating millions of jobs. And then in year 2015, I was being appointed by UNIDO, UN Industrialization Organization Development, being the goodwill ambassador for Africa to promote industrialization. And then we have been working in 10 Africa countries to helping them on job creation and economic transformation. The ultimate goal is to support the bottom billion for their economic transformation. So the question at this point you probably ask, why Binance? I was actually being elected to World Economic Forum in year 2015 as a young global leader. So I've been very exposed to this new idea of the fourth industrial revolution. So the question actually I asked myself, what have I been doing in Africa in the past 10 years is to using the second industrialization model to help the bottom billion for their economic transformation. But then every generation have every generation's duty. We're in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. What should we do to leverage the technology from the fourth industrial revolution? And then if we are looking back to reflect the history, what happened in the third industrial revolution, which is the past 30 years? While we're celebrating the technological advancement, but at the same time, 1% of the population in the world is holding 90% of the global wealth. The world didn't become a better place. So the question actually I asked myself, should we do something differently, in the fourth industrial revolution? And then in 2018, I went to Davos to give a talk on SDG, and I went to all the sessions on crypto and blockchain. What I've learned about crypto and blockchain is we're still at early stage, of the industry. What industry really needed is industry shaper who will drive the industry to the right direction. And after that, I was quite fortunately had the opportunity to have a further discussion with CZ. And then we actually came into the same decision, which is, in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, entrepreneurs need to do differently. We should not just give money to the poor people. We need to use technology on day one to working with them to figure out technologies to helping them on their economic transformation, because this is the way actually for sustainable world. And that's one of the reasons actually we set up the Binance Charity Foundation. So that's where I am today. Some of you probably also ask, yes, we heard of Binance Charity Foundation, and why Uganda? So the question is actually, CZ and I, we did not pick Uganda. It was Africa and Uganda who picked us. The story actually started last year. When CZ and I had this basic idea about the Blockchain Charity Foundation, and then I said to CZ, I said, CZ, this is what you've got in mind and I've got in mind. But we need to hear actually what the end beneficiary felt, the bottom billion felt. Would they welcome this technology for it? So I said, let us go to Africa. So CZ and I actually went to Africa in May last year. We meant to meet several head of states, including the president of Togo and also the president of Uganda. We had a 30 minutes meeting with the president of Uganda. You know what happened? The president is a 74 years old man. Actually, he's not really the most advanced person in the planet for technology. So he asked very basic questions to CZ and me, such as what is money? What is crypto? Why we need crypto? And you know what happened? After 10 minutes asking those very basic questions, he took a 1 minute silent, and he said to us, he said, CZ and Helen, listen, I think Uganda and Africa, we don't want to be followers anymore in the year of the fourth industrial revolution. We want to be in the fronting line, working with entrepreneurs like you to developing solutions for our country and for our continent, for our economic transformation. That is very, very encouraging for CZ and I, because we realize today leaders in developing country, they have a choice. They can choose the traditional model, or they can choose work with entrepreneurs they trust. They can work with new business models. The ultimate goal is they want a better ways for their population, for their economic transformation. So that's one of the reasons actually Binance decided to set up the exchange there to create the first infrastructure. And then our charities project, pilot project, was started in Uganda right now. Let me go down with some of the questions you've asked so far. Let me go down with one each of them. The first question is, what are the donations come from for the foundation? And how much money will be put into charity this year and going forward? That's a very good question. First of all, most of our current donations come from Binance and other industry players. We have received the donations from crypto holders around the world. Many actually are donating anonymously. Binance will continually to support the project and cover the operation costs, and we want to involve more people to support our project. At this point, actually, I want to say, people ask, if you give donations to the charity foundation, where would the money go? First, I want to say, actually, our charity foundation right now is the first one and probably the only one we do not charge. We charge zero operation cost, because all the operation cost for the foundation is bared by Binance. When you give money, we charge zero cost actually with your donation. All your donation will go into the end beneficiary. This is very different with the traditional charity foundation. And secondly, the question is, what is the role for blockchain in BCF? What kind of innovations can blockchain bring to the traditional charity? A transparent donation platform. Actually, I think there's a lot of talks of what blockchain can do, what crypto can do. But those are big future points. As I mentioned early on, we're still at the early stage of the development of the technology. And right now, it is technology looking for applications. So we are actually pioneers trying to pilot some of the applications. And the most obvious one to us actually is to making a transparent donation system. Why we need this? Because when we talk about charity, the system has been existed since Second World War. And then we know there's a lot of issues such as corruption, and there's a very famous term called leaking basket. There's a lot of money want to go into the end beneficiaries, but because the intermediaries in the middle, there's no infrastructure from the money to the end beneficiary. So actually, a lot of the donation being lost in the middle. So the end beneficiary was not able to actually benefit the original way they wanted. So this is why we believe this is something actually blockchain as a technology can help, because it is a transparent system. And this is exactly we believe the charity need new discipline. Technology can make it happen. That's why actually we spend our own, Binance spend its own technology and finance developing this 100% transparent charity platform, which you are able to track all the charity you give to the end beneficiary at every single steps. So this is something we felt now we understand the concept, we're also piloting it. And this is a way really to empower the bottom billion, which has already been excluded in the existing financial system, building the basic infrastructure they deserve. Because in this process, we're giving them crypto wallet. They are able to receive actually the donation they originally deserved directly from the donors, instead of going through the intermediaries. The next question, BCF makes sure that the funds are received by, how should we make sure the funds are received by each end beneficiary, and what did we do to make that possible? As I just explained early on, we opened a crypto wallet for all the end beneficiaries. So all the funds will go directly to them, instead of via traditional institutions as all the other NGOs. And the end beneficiaries will use cryptocurrency they received to redeem the goods from the local suppliers, retailers, who are also granted this crypto wallet. We have volunteers and local partners helping with the whole process, complete identity verification, and open account for the beneficiaries. So in this process, grant each beneficiaries with crypto wallet, basically offering them the basic infrastructure. And secondly, we also opened crypto wallet for the local suppliers, which we have volunteers and local partners to help with the process. So in this process, all the transactions will be tracked in blockchain. This is a very, very powerful tool actually to fight for corruption. The next question, how does BCF protect and ensure legitimate identities of the end beneficiaries? Within the local jurisdiction we serve, we will authorize our local NGO partners to conduct due diligence. They collect personal identification information from all the end beneficiaries, complete a strong governed KYC process, and ensure the appropriate person is receiving the donation. We will also put end beneficiaries decentralized information online for tracking and monitoring. So in summary, local NGO partners to conduct due diligence, collect ID for all the end beneficiaries. So that's why we can ensure the legitimacy. Next questions, what issues have BCF faced so far and how did you solve those issues? We are pioneers. All the questions you can imagine for the pioneers, we actually have experience, such as the area we work, the infrastructure issue. There's no smartphone, no computer. You can have a lot of brilliant ideas when you are thousands of miles away. But when you're actually on the area, working on the last mile solutions, you know, the infrastructure issue is very valid, very challenging. And this is actually, we felt we're very proud for our foundation. We're not just talkers, we're actually really focused in working on the last mile solution, because we believe we have to on the ground, working with locals, understanding what's their real challenges, and working innovative ideas to working with them. So that's why our team experience in Africa can really helping us have a better communication with the local partners and peoples to jointly developing a solution. And I really believe my past 10 years underground work, you know, in developing countries, really adding a plus to this whole process. And in the process, we also actually bringing the whole idea of this blockchain into developing countries in day one. This is exactly the vision the Uganda president had when actually he met CZ and me last year. He said, people, Africa, they can talk, blockchain, they can talk, crypto, but if the real players didn't come to the ground to working with us together, to developing, to piloting projects, we can never get in there. So this is something we're really proud. There are difficulties. People don't understand us. There's infrastructure issues. But we're really proud being pioneers, working with locals, jointly developing solutions. And we're really also welcoming more people from the community to join us in this revolution, to come to the ground, to working solutions, working with them. Because as I said, looking at the past 30 years, during the third industrial revolution, which is dominated by internet, in Silicon Valley, we have a lot of good engineers, have a lot of good visions, but the problem is very few of them actually left Silicon Valley, went to developing countries, developing solutions for the end beneficiaries. And this is something we believe now in the crypto industry, we need to do something differently. The next question, what are other things blockchain can do besides charity donation, and what are other social impact to achieve? As I said, this is the very early stage, I think, which is technology still looking for applications. There's a lot of good ideas actually what blockchain can do, but we want to be very practically. So we're starting with the making charity as the first starting point. And now actually because we're on the ground, we actually have the first-hand information, what is really needed. I think what is really needed is as I said, you cannot think about that 1,000 miles away. You have to be on the ground, spending time with locals to hear from them what they really needed. Now, after spending 6 months in Uganda, what we really understand, now the way opening crypto wallet actually is also challenging for them. So actually, USSD-based technology for wallet is very needed. And also we've learned more than half of the population in Africa, they don't even have an identity. So they need digital ID. So those are the things now as a next step, as a charity foundation, we're working with local entrepreneurs and also local government, trying to see how we can support them to develop what they really need. So what they really need is not what Binance think. We want to hear that from actually the locals. That is very, very important. And next question. What kind of currency does BCF accept for donation? Do you only accept cryptocurrency? And if so, which one? Do you accept fiat? The answer is we accept both cryptocurrency and fiat. But at the moment, because we're still developing our platform, so right now in our platform, we can accept fiat, we can accept the BNB, Ether, and BTC, but we want to add more cryptocurrency to the platform. And at the same time, we actually very welcome the developers from the industry to working with us, because eventually this platform, it does not belong to Binance. We want it to belong to the bottom billion, because this is designed to support them. That is the ultimate goal. Next question. How do I know my donation reached to the end beneficiaries? Very good question. If you are in blockchain, clearly you know for all our project, on our website, every single donation we received and every donation to our end beneficiaries, all the transactions on blockchain. You can actually track it. So if you go to our website, you can just track it yourself. All the records, including TXID, which allows people to confirm their donation information and verify the transaction on the blockchain. And this is the beauty of the technology. That is why we felt we have to grasp this beauty to support the bottom billion, because nobody can abuse the system. Nobody can corrupt the system anyway, because blockchain is there to track and to monitoring the discipline, for this whole process. Next question, how does BCF pick projects and what to help? we're actually very open with project all over the world. As I mentioned, why Africa, why Uganda? We did not pick them. We're being picked by Uganda. So now we actually want more countries and maybe more projects come to us, and we want to work with you to try to see what we need. At this stage, we need more pilot. We need to build on the success and snowballing the effect. And we want, once we build one success, we want to snowball into other countries and other continents. So with our Binance children's project in Uganda, we are really proud of it. I don't know whether you've seen the pictures yesterday, when the live pictures when we are giving the food for the children. Look at those smiles on their face, my heart is melting. So we want to see more of those smiles across the globe, because for less than 1 BNB, for less than 1 BNB, I'm thinking about those pictures. For less than 1 BNB, you can support the kids for the whole month's lunch, they can eat. Today we're talking about, yes, they need education, but when you're on the ground, a lot of children, they went to the class with empty stomach. How can they focus on their study? So this is something, the basic humanitarian need. People need food for their stomach. So now we felt, for you thousands miles away, you can say, now with 1 BNB, I want to support that one kid for that whole month. I can really see the money went into that bowl of that kids, and I can see the whole transaction is being transparent. There's no corrupt government, there's no corrupt NGO in this process. And then you can live on our Twitter to see what the kids is being eating every day on the menus. And all these whole suppliers, the value flow of the donation you give. So this is something we want to see more of this across the globe in other countries for kids. Next question, why did BCF start in Africa and Uganda particular? I think I answered that question. We did not, we're being picked actually by Uganda. And we want to be picked by more countries, by you. Next one, how did Binance donate all listing fees to impact BCF? Yes, so one of the things I want you be the policeman, for us. Because CZ made an announcement on the 8th of October last year. He said, all the listing fees to Binance will go into charity. And I want to say, we act on our words. All our listing fees from that day went into charity. Some of you might ask the question, Helen, probably we didn't see a lot of money yet. Why is that? Because we didn't receive all listing fees from project. But when we receive listing fees from project, it will be 100% to charity. And you can be the policeman to monitor that. Next question. In Latin America, we have many difficulties, especially with ODS on some poor people. Can we actually to apply project with Binance Charity? Of course. As I said, we want to go actually across the globe. Number one, we really believe blockchain and crypto is a very powerful tool to help the bottom billion. Why? Because personal actually, maybe this is a question, but my personal opinion, I don't think crypto will replace fiat entirely. But I think crypto at this stage is definitely a very important complementary to fiat. And if we are looking at 7.6 billion population globally, the bottom billion, they actually has been excluded in the existing financial infrastructure. They don't even have bank account. They don't have access to fiat. And this is where I think crypto can really help. And actually, when I first time read Satoshi's white paper, when thinking about what he's thinking, in a way I'm more thinking about the decentralized he's talking about, also talking about the bottom billion for the people globally, to support them on their financial inclusion. So we definitely want to, go to more countries to educate the bottom billion, and then trying to working find out solutions, how we can use blockchain and crypto, particularly to helping them on financial inclusion. What are the roles for CZ in BCF team? First of all, I would say BCF is one of his very important babies. The whole idea, started between CZ and myself, and he's very passionate, in the progress, and then and you probably also seen the white paper he wrote actually years ago. He talking about making charity transparent using blockchain. So this is something CZ is very, very passionate, and this is something very close to his heart. And the other things you probably also ask, what the other things except the transparent platform, what else we have done in the past 6 or 8 months? Something I like to report to all of you. As I mentioned, this is the early stage of a new revolution. Actually, how we can use the technology as a tool for social good. So we think global advocacy is very, very important. So last year, we are really proud, with the great support from all of you, we were able to actually bring in blockchain first time into United Nations General Assembly in September. We actually hosted roundtable discussions. We brought head of states, entrepreneurs, and industry players. We actually let people to address the awareness. We need to think about using blockchain to solve financial inclusion for the bottom billion. And following September last year, in October, we worked with ANCAD at Geneva at the Grand UN building. We host the first Blockchain for Sustainable Development Forum for United Nations, sending out a new message. In the year of the fourth industrial revolutions, the crypto industry, we want to actually think, we need to think, and we pioneers, like us, want to actually work with traditional industries to thinking how we can use the technology to support global development. So those are the two things we've already done. And then I also like to report to you, our advocacy has received a great feedback from the traditional community, because when we formed our senior advisory board for our foundation, the president of Malta, she's a very powerful lady, is supporting us being the senior advisory board. And we have the head of Africa Development Bank, Africa Exim Bank, and also we have a lot of senior leaders from Africa and also across the globe, sitting on our board, including very senior people from the traditional NGOs. They want to actually all becoming pioneers to see how we can use the technology to make a new impact in this new year. So clearly we felt we've received a lot of good support. But now it's very important we need to work on the ground, working on the last mile solutions. And we realize we're still at the early stage. That is why we need more of you joining us. Let us hold hands to make this happen. Well, I'm seeing some great questions already. People ask me, how can I get involved? I have a PR company, also deeply passionate. This is something really, really keep me going really every day, because a lot of people I talked in the crypto industry, when we talk deeper, they're actually really passionate about a bigger social impact. So how to answer you? Please drop us an email, bcf@binance.charity. Please write to us. We want to work with the industry. We're pioneers. Let's become a group of pioneers to trying to develop solutions together. How does BCF has a disclaimer saying no good or service are purchased with our donation? You can see everything is tracked on the blockchain. You can track when all the money has been donated to us, where the money went. So this is something I think I don't need to say anything. It's everything. If you understand blockchain, just go to our website. Go to check it ourselves. And I actually ask you to be in the policeman. And I urge you to help us to find if actually somebody is abusing this. And today you have my word, we're definitely going to correct the mistake. we can see everything. Yeah, you are right. Yes, this is the beauty about the technology. And this is why we really think, we need to take this opportunity. And something I want to share with you, do you have any plans to develop solar powers in Africa? Now, actually, as I said, we're just focusing on simple solutions. But if we have more partners, maybe a solar partner come to us, want to adopt the blockchain technology, definitely we want to work with them. But currently for us, we are not a solar expert. So we cannot say we want to do it. We need to know what we can do. The DEX. That's a question for CZ. Yes, I think CZ is answering when the DEX is going to coming out. Earlier you asked me the questions, how CZ is involved. Now he's live answer your questions. Please feel free also live asking CZ questions now. As I said, this is something personal. I know CZ for 10 years, and something let me share with you about CZ. I know CZ for 10 years. He's a man, actually, he does not have any house, and he only has one suit, and he's wearing a very old version of Apple Watch. And then all his assets actually is in crypto. He's a really strong believer, and he's actually a very, very simple man. When he go to buy things, probably he will only go to Zara. So for him, I think this charity is very close to his heart, because CZ and I think we are the beneficiaries of the world second industrial revolution. So now we actually have the opportunity. Each generation has each generation's duty. Now it's our generation's duty to move from a beneficiary of a society into a contributor. So now, leveraging the new technology, we want to actually to change more people's life, to be making more people becoming beneficiaries like us, like what we have been benefited from our childhood. Okay, thank you for those kind words. I really, really appreciate. This is a new revolution. It's not just a few people. I believe it's all of us together. And I want to share with you something. I mentioned about searching for purpose, and something actually, I still remember when I first went to Africa. In the year of 2011, when I first put my feet in Ethiopia, after seeing the country, it's a very poor country, and then we stayed in a hotel called Sheraton Hotel. That's the only 5-star hotel at that time in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. So after dinner, I was digesting food, so which took me to the back of the hotel. There's a bar called the Office Bar. And then when I was in that bar, that was October 2011, I looked around. And then I didn't see any Africans, enjoying the food and the drinks in the bar. I see a lot of European people, drinking and enjoying the live music there, which remind me my personal story 30 years back. When I was 7 years old, it was my birthday. It is the first time my father took me to the capital of China, Beijing. At that time, believe it or not, there's only one 5-star hotel in Beijing called the Beijing Hotel. Because it's my birthday, my father took me to the reception, and he wanted to give me a treat, so he asked, how much is it per night? That was 1983. The reception told my father, $100. My father said, immediately, it is too expensive. We cannot afford it. The moment he was taking me, that little girl, away from that beautiful Beijing hotel in Beijing in 1983, when I'm away from that lobby, I turned my head back. I looked around. I didn't see Chinese guests, I see foreigners. At that moment, I thought, that beautiful hotel is a world that does not belong to me, and it's a world will never belong to me. But then my life changed dramatically. It is nothing to do with how good I am. Actually, because I think Asia has been taking the advantage of the second industrial revolution, and then people like myself being benefited from that whole economic transformation. So the moment in 2011 in that Sheraton Hotel, at that bar, when I looked around, what went through to my mind is, outside the big gate of Sheraton, there must be a lot of young girls thinking exactly like me 30 years back. In their mind, inside the big gate of Sheraton, there must be full of roses. That is a word does not belong to them. That is a word never belonged to them. What they did not know is if their country and the continent can find the right path of development, their life will be very differently. And this is the whole reason why I said Cici and myself and also a lot of others, including you, are so passionate about this. You know, it is our generation's duty. We can really make a difference. You know, outside those big gates of Sheraton, those girls, they deserve a better life for the next 30 years. And let us use technology, use blockchain and crypto to helping them. Thank you. Last, I think really happy with all your enthusiasm. I just want to end this AMA with something Nelson Mandela once said. It is always impossible until it's done. So let us work together to move from that vision to action, dreams to reality. Thank you all.